I'm just going to quickly demonstrate some of the ways the tools that we have that will do live captioning. I'm going to start off with the presentation tools. So these are normally tools that we would use in front of a class, or we can also be using them obviously in a meeting or something. So I'm going to start off with Google Meet. I'm going to start my presentation here. And with Google Meet, you basically decide what is the language that you're going to be using for the meeting. So whether it's all German or French or whatever. In this case right now, the only thing that's being supported is English only. So I'm just going to turn that on. And as you can see, once I start talking, everything that I say is going to be down below. Now you'll notice that if someone else was to speak, they're not going to have their name associated with it or anything like that. Right now, the way that slides are capturing my text is just me talking, and I'm just going to put in the text that it hears. So it doesn't care who says what, it's just going to put those words right into there. With this presentation, there is no transcript that's saved, so basically you video capture it and use the tools afterwards to put in the captioning that goes with the video. Let's go look at Microsoft PowerPoint. Now I'm going to start off with the web version because the web version has some extra features in it, but whether it's the web version or the desktop version on the Mac or the Windows, you can use subtitles. So here I'm just going to go in, you can choose what's spoken language. So these are all the languages that are well understood. So Chinese, English, German, Italian, Spanish, those are well documented and well understood languages that Microsoft recognizes. These preview languages are hit and miss. So they might get you a pretty good idea, but it might not. Keep in mind when we talk about this, this is our spoken. So whatever is going to be spoken by the presenter. Now I can also go in here and just like before, I can have English showing up at the bottom. But if I'm speaking to a predominantly Spanish group, I can do a translation. So there's a lot more languages that are listed there for translation. I'm going to pop down and find my Spanish here. And when I click on always use subtitles, that means that as soon as I start hitting my presentation, the subtitles kick in. There's also an icon on the presentation that allows you to start them from there. I always say always use. So we'll just give this a second to load up. And once it starts to load up, you'll now see that my words are automatically translated quickly into Spanish. Now keep in mind, whatever I set as the language is the language that's going to be displayed. It's not like everyone has their own choices of where they can go and put in their own languages. Not with this functionality. So I'm going to go back out for a second. I'm going to switch this back to English. So I'm going to assuming that everyone I'm talking to is going to be in English. So we'll go over here, pop this back to English and run from there. Now, Present Live is different. Present Live is going to give me a separate window that I can, and a link that I can give to people so that they can use that link and they can view my presentation. So they're not going to see me, they'll see my slides, but the beauty of this is that it will translate what I'm saying to a different language. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. I'm going to quickly go into here, and I will have to stop the video and start it again so that you can see the presentation slide. When you give this link out to the students, they're either going to be watching your video on meeting, into your video meeting, and then have this window somewhere else, whether it's on a mobile device, whether it's on a different browser, but somewhere they're going to be having two screens open watching it. So whether they actually have two monitors to do this or two different windows on your screen, they'll have to figure that out. But what's going to happen is it's going to allow them to pick the language that they want to see me talk in on the screen. So let me just quickly set this up. So this is my setup here. This is what everyone else is going to see. They can now take this link and use this link on a different window. I'm just going to set this up right now, so we'll be able to pop over there in a second. And as I start my presentation and show my slides, this is what they're going to see. Notice I still have my own subtitles running, so we can do that, and I can do my presentation. Okay, so now we're looking at the window here set up by for the student or whoever else is viewing it. Notice by default it's English, but I can go down here, and as a participant I can change the language that I want. So I'm going to throw in Finnish just for the heck of it. I have absolutely no idea what this is going to look like for Finnish, but this is what the Finnish language. The beauty of this is that every student can choose a different language. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing or how I'm speaking, they'll be able to see it. One of the nice things about this tool is that as I'm talking and stuff, it will keep track of when I move from one slide to another. So you'll notice here I'm on slide, 3 or 4 at this point, but it shows me what text or what blurbage I'm talking about deals with slide 2 or 3. And as I'm doing this, they can go back and click on this and jump to those slides. So if they want to review stuff, they can do that on their own. They can also go into here and put in reactions, which will appear on my display. So all these things that we've seen before, applause and stuff. And at the end of this session, they can also throw in and rate the presentation. And the rating actually goes and has these little subcomponents that we can do, and they can submit it. That information gets sent to me as the presenter. It basically is a Microsoft form, so I will be able to find all that data in the forms, and in there I can do a review of how my presentation went. So that's Present Live with Microsoft. So far, we've been focused on presentation software. Now I want to talk about our video conferencing tools. So I'm going to specifically look at Google Meets as well as Microsoft Teams. So right now I'm in Google Meets, and if I have this presentation started up, if I go down to the bottom here and I click on the 3 dots here, I can turn on captions. Now it's going to prompt me to say, hey, what language will everyone be speaking in? So again, you can only choose one language at a time. It does not do translations. However, notice my head appears off to the side here. Basically, I'm being associated with that text. If someone else were to come to speak, their head would be showing up there as well. So you can see who said what. I've often been in meetings, not often, I've been in meetings where the audio kick cuts out for whatever reason and I can't hear anyone. Rather than doing a restart, I actually just turn on my live captions like this and I can follow along. I just have to tell everyone, hey, can you just take a little bit slower because I can't read what's going on. Now, there's a hack though that's available for using these transcriptions here. So if I go into my right click in here and I'm going to go translate to French. Well, what's happened is Google Chrome actually allows you to translate different languages. So I can go up here and Google Translate, I can pick what I want. But notice what's happened. Not only can I translate a web page as I normally would, but look at what's happening with my subtitles. They are being translated on the fly. Now, you as an instructor probably wouldn't use this, but you could say to your students, hey, if you'd like, you could translate what I'm saying in Google Meets, and it'll translate that on the fly. Thing to keep in mind is it does take a few seconds for it to take your English words and then translate them and then display them on the page here. So if you're a fast talker, you're going to find that these things aren't going to be doing a great job. So if you slow down a little bit, they'll be able to see what you're speaking in a language that they're more comfortable reading. That's Google Meet. Microsoft Teams not only allows us to have live captions, but it will also do transcripts. So a transcript basically is it captures all your words and puts them into a document. Microsoft Teams is awesome for this. I can't stress enough how great Teams is for that kind of collaboration. So I've created this scheduled meeting. And as I mentioned, you have to have a scheduled meeting for transcripts. You can't use transcripts on a regular video call. But I'm going to start this up now. And again, you can go into your 3 dots here and I can turn on, down at the bottom here, I can turn on my live captions. Now, just like we had in Google, the language is set for English for this meeting. So that means everyone that's going to be talking is going to be speaking in English. Notice again, we can see the association of my name with the text that's going on. If I wanted to change the language, the 3 dots down at the bottom here allow me to change my spoken language to a different language. No point in my going into French because it's expecting French words, and if I'm speaking English, it's just not going to do very well. So this is just live captions. And again, if you're in a meeting, you have no audio, turn it on. It's great to help you out. Every individual can turn on the live captions. It's not turned on for everyone. Transcripts are the ability to take all that data and put it into a document. Now, if you start a video recording, it's automatically going to throw in the transcripts. With transcripts here, it's just going to put the text off to the side. And when we're done this meeting, it will actually create a file with the meeting that I can go and view the transcript at any point in time. It's not turned on by default. So other users, if they want to see what's going on, they'll have to turn it on, just using the three dots there. But notice it's pretty much the same thing that's going on in my display as it is off to the side. So you don't need to have both of them running. You can turn one off or the other. So transcriptions are a great tool when you want to capture what people are saying without having to write everything down. A lot of people prefer transcriptions over video recordings because they don't want to see their faces associated with the video, but they don't mind you capturing what they've said. And of course, this data is available to all the participants in the meeting that belong to McEwen. So as you're doing these presentations and stuff, again, there's different ways that you can take advantage of all that stuff and make sure that everyone's playing on the same page. Another tool that works well in live time chat is Microsoft Translator. And I'm just going to pull that up here. So here's Microsoft Translator. I'm going to start a conversation in English. Now, you can use this anywhere, okay? I'm going to be a presenter, so I'm just going to turn this on right now, and I'm going to we'll just leave that off for now. So this does exactly very similar to what Present Live does, except for there are no slides. This is strictly just the text. And what can happen here is I'm going to take this piece here, and I close a few other windows here so it doesn't get too confusing, and bring that back. So there's my translator. I'm going to pull up a new window. So I'm going to put this in incognito mode. And so you don't even have to be logged in. You can use the QR code or what have you. If you use the QR code on your phone, there is a software that you can download. But this looks a lot like what we had there before. Come on, but it's not. Yes, it is. Try this again. Copy this link. There we go. So person can now join in. I'm going to join in as Jazz, and Jazz is going to speak Spanish. So what we have here again is a piece of a window that opens off to the side. It does not include my slides like Present Live did, but it does allow me to translate what I'm saying. And again, anyone that joins this room or this translator room can pick whatever language they want. So even as I'm speaking English, even as I'm displaying English, they could have this window open up somewhere else in the language they're more comfortable with. One of the other nice features about this tool is that the participants can also be involved. So Jazz, who is the Spanish speaker, can actually click on the microphone, speak in Spanish, and Jazz's words will show up on my screen in English and in German to anyone else and whatever. So it's not just a one-way communication. You can actually have conversations and question and answers, and those question and answers will be translated automatically into the language that everyone's familiar with. That's it. That's pretty much all the tools that I've got to show you.